Hello my loves and welcome back. And if you're new here, then thank you for joining me and giving me a try. Today we're going to talk about bridge pose and specifically the different ways that you can use yoga blocks in your bridge pose. So grab yourself a couple of blocks and we'll come down onto our backs. So when we think about bridge pose, we're going to draw the feet about hip distance apart here. Push the upper arms down into the floor, push the heels down into the floor, and lift your bum up. You want to feel the posterior chain engaging here, the hamstrings and the glutes. And then take a pause, take a breath, and release. So there's a couple of ways that we can use our blocks in our bridge pose. And the first way, and probably one of the most common ways, is that we can take the block between our knees. Now you can choose the width of your block depending on your body, and this allows us to feel the energetic quality of the inner thighs moving inwards, because you're going to apply a little bit of tension on your block. Push the upper arms down, lift your bum. And again, what you might find here is more engagement of the glutes, more engagement of the inner thighs, and more of a feeling of having to push down to lift up, which is what we want in our bridge pose. Pushing down to lift up. You may even want to lift the forearms away from the floor. And release. Now the other thing that you might want to explore is if you have what I like to call a lazy foot. It's not a real thing, but sometimes when I see clients do bridge pose, one foot often ends up being turned out and the clients are unaware. They're not aware that they're doing it. So sometimes I like to put a block between the feet to give them a sensation of where the feet are supposed to be. And it gives the same activity of pushing inwards with the ankles and with the feet. That might be something you want to explore. And that is your variation of bridge pose with a block. Does that change your bridge pose now that your feet are pointing forwards? Now the great thing is, if you have two blocks, you can do both of those together. And if you're doing that, what I suggest is that you have the blocks the same width apart. So if you have them wide between your feet, have them wide between your knees so that they're the same width apart, and then draw the knees in, draw the ankles in, and find your bridge pose. That can change your bridge pose quite a lot. So I say this all the time, but blocks and props don't always make poses easier. They can make things more challenging. And I think this is one of those variations where the pose can actually be more challenging with the blocks than without the blocks. And if you want to make things a little more challenging for your bridge pose, you're going to bring the blocks in, hip distance apart, bring your feet to your blocks, and then lift up. Gives you a little bit more height for your bridge pose. You'll engage a little bit more through the glutes. If you have a third block, you can even place that third block between your knees and then come up. Now again, we mentioned that blocks can make things easier or harder, and this is one of the ways that they can make the pose easier and a little more gentle. So you'll come down, you have to do a little bit of the work yourself. You'll lift your bum, slide your block underneath your bum, and then rest your pelvis on the block. So you're in a supported bridge pose. And some of you will be thinking that's not very high, but here's the thing. For a lot of people, this is enough. This is enough for many people. You can change the height of your block and take it higher. And here's the one thing that you need to be careful of with this. You want the block on your pelvis, not on your lower back. So this might be your bridge pose. Or if you want the high bridge, you can take the high bridge and then be in your supported bridge pose here. So I've shown you the variations with both feet on the floor. You can also do this with the single leg variations. Having the block between the knees on the single leg variations makes things much more challenging. So do bear that in mind. You can use the variations with the foot on top of the block and do single leg stuff with one leg there. And also that will make that a little bit more challenging. Blocks do not always make things easier. All right, another way that you can use blocks in your bridge pose is to take it towards the upper back. You want to take it towards the upper back. The head can rest down, or if it's not comfortable resting down, place another block there and then lift your bum up. And that might be a variation that you have. You can also have the variation with the head back and the upper back supported on your block. You can have the variation with the block between the feet, the knees. So I hope that shows you that there's many ways that you can use a block in your bridge pose and your yoga practice. They're a very versatile prop to have in your practice, and I highly recommend that you get a set for your own home practice. I'll leave a link in the description to some. I think these were the Amazon ones. I'm not sure, I can't remember. I've got about 6 sets, who knows. If you have any questions about the ways that I've used the blocks today, or if you want more uses for your yoga blocks in your practice, then let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, then give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. And remember, my loves, that karma is only a bitch if you are. So be nice, be kind, and be the change that you want to see in the world. Why am I giggling so much today? What is wrong with me? Oh gosh, what a day. Stop giggling. And remember, my loves, that karma is only a bitch if you are. So be nice. Wait at the wrong time.